G'day guys, and welcome to another episode of Aussie Dos Outdoors. This time, as the title suggested, we're back out in the mangroves chasing a few mud crabs. The temperature's starting to warm up a bit and I'm hoping these guys are going to be on the move and after a feed. I'm heading back out to the same spot we did the last video, and for those of you who haven't seen the first video, it's a bit of an industrial wasteland with the remnants of an old road running down the centre of it. So that's the easiest way to travel. That's the way I'm going. You can actually still see remnants of the original road, just like this strip here. Righto guys, we're back out here again in the mangroves, and you guessed it, mud crabs in the mangroves part 2. So hopefully this time we're going to get a few more days out here and hopefully grab a few more big bucks. Now it is just coming into spring, end of winter, I'm not sure. We have missed the full moon due to a job I was on, so the tides are winding down a little bit, but hopefully there's still a few bucks moving around now that it is starting to warm up a little bit. Right, I've hauled all this gear in, as you would have seen. So now all that's left to do is to walk around and see if we can find a couple of spots to drop these pots in, and hopefully we can come back tomorrow and collect a feed of mud crabs. Alright guys, I've walked in here, but I feel like now the work's just beginning because we got to place all these, so let's get to it. Now just like last time, I believe it's all in the prep work, so I've left all the gear there and I'm going off on foot to try and find where we're going to place these pots before I go dragging all this gear through the mangroves. It's about taking your time and finding spots that are going to work for you. Now I think I've found 4 suitable positions, so I'm going to go back and start grabbing these traps and setting them up. Guys, I had planned on using catfish for this. I was going to head out to the dam and see if we can pick up a few catties because I know they make awesome bait. But unfortunately I haven't made my way out there yet, so we've got the next best thing, which is cat food. Pretty much the same thing, I guess, just one's in a tin. So we'll try and head out in the next couple of days and get some catfish to use for bait, but for now we're just going to run the tins. Alright guys, so this year I've actually attached a little bit of shade at the top of my pots. As you can see, that's it back down there, tucked away nice and neatly into the mangroves. So what that shade's going to do is actually going to protect anything that's undersized or female, and of course anything that's male as well will be in good condition when I come and check it tomorrow. So you don't want those undersized crabs or those females getting damaged or hurt. So you want to make sure they're in prime condition to go back into the environment, to grow, to breed, all that sort of stuff. And of course we do want the males in good condition for a little bit of tucker. Righto guys, 1 down, 3 to go. So one of the things I'm looking for out here is this. This is pretty close to where we set that first pot. This is the ocean side right here, and then we've got this clearing, the old road, and then mud flats on the other side. So what they did, I assume, when they demolished the road is put little drainways in so the water could drain out of the mud flats. So that's where any crabs, any fish, any sort of marine life that uses this area is going to be heading up and down these channels. They're like highways for them to get to these mud flats. So what I'm going to do is set my pots along these, because that's the first place the crabs are going to go. If they want to get to these mud flats, they're going to have to go past these pots. And if you can sort of peek through the trees here, we can see a little bit of water sitting on the other side. So although that looks soft, I'm going to try and make my way through there. So after climbing through that tangled mess of mangroves and driftwood, we ended up getting out on this little flat. So what I'm looking for is where the water's going to drain back through and drain in, so the lowest point essentially, and that's where I'm going to set my trap. I'm going to dig a little bit of a hole in the ground, making sure not to damage any mangroves, and set the trap there. That way there's a low point, it's going to gather some water, and that's going to keep those crabs happy and healthy until I get back to check on them. For pot number 3, I'm just going to follow this little creek down into the mangroves a little bit towards the ocean and see if I can set it somewhere along there. That way it'll be in the best path for the crabs to follow. Look at this structure in the tree. Surely this has got to be human made. I can't see the driftwood settling like that itself. Righto champions, with that one now in its little hole down there, that's 3 in, 1 to go. So I'm looking forward to getting out of here. I can feel my bug spray slowly sweating off and the sandflies and the midges getting to me, so I'm keen to get out of here. But we've got one more to set and then we'll be rocking and rolling out of here. All right, a little bit less talking, a little bit more setting that last crab trap, I think. I'll see you over there. Now I'm setting trap number 4 right up near this little beach. I don't like setting traps down here because they're accessible by boats, and you know what some people are like. But this is a nice low spot, which means it's going to have plenty of water over it compared to the rest of the spots. So I'm going to set one here anyway, and we'll just run the risk. Hopefully tucking it in here nice and tight to the mangroves will stop it getting checked, but we'll see. Alright, that's pot number 4 tucked away here. Right on the beach, or mud, or whatever. I'm calling this pot the beach anyway, it's quite close to the beach. So hopefully a few muddies tomorrow. Alright, I'll see you when we get back up there. Righto champions, that's the end of the first day out here. As you can see, that storm looks like it's blowing in from the ocean, so I'm going to start heading out, and hopefully we get a little bit of rain after I get back to the car. That way tomorrow the fresh might have flushed a few crabs out. So we'll see how we go. If not, I'll see you in the morning. Catch yous. Alright guys, it's a bit of a miserable morning out here, but nonetheless it's the first morning to get out and check these pots, so I'm super excited about it. Run straight out to what I'm going to nickname as the beach pot. I think I said it yesterday, because it's the lowest one down, so we've got to get it because that tide's coming up quick. Alright, we'll get it and then we'll work our way back. Let's go. Right, I'm just coming past the one we'll call in the trees. The flats is off on the other side of me here, and in this little creek up here, yeah, the creek, that's what we're calling them. The creek, the flats, and the trees. We've got to get to the beach because it's going to be underwater very soon. Now, it is a beautiful little section of beach here, but you just got to watch out for this. That's rebar sticking up through the sand. You really don't want to stand on that. That really wouldn't make a good beach experience, so if you're ever out here, just keep it high on the place. You never know what's going to be sticking up through the sand. Oh, let's see if we got some crabs. Nice little buck. Obviously he's undersized by a couple of centimetres, so we'll get him out. I'll send him on his way. There we go. Look at the little guy. Let's put him in the mangrove so he's got some cover. There you go, mate. Yeah, it's a good start to the morning. Let's go see how the other 3 are going. That was the beach. We know there's some bucks around. We just need them a little bit bigger. All right, let's get to the rest of them. Right, these other 3 pots are pretty close together. So I'm going to drop my bag here. Should be pretty easy to find. It's next to this massive concrete and steel plinth. And we'll go through and check these other 3 out. First one we're going to do is the flats, and it's right here. So the flats come up stumps, no crabs there. Next one I'm checking is the creek, and it's pretty empty as well, unfortunately. Now these aren't getting that much water over them, and I think that's the problem with these falling tides. I can sort of look across here to where the nighttime high tide was, and they're probably getting 2.5 foot over them. Of course, that's enough to catch a crab if there's a crab cruising around, but it doesn't give them a lot of time to get into that pot while the water's over them. Now I was kind of hoping I'd just be able to peek in from here without getting too muddy, but there is actually a crab in it. It looks like a jenny, so we're going to have to go in there and get it out. Female crabs generally have smaller claws, and they're a little bit wide between the swimmers on the back, so that's how I can tell from a distance, or have a pretty good idea at least. We'll flip this one over and just double check to be sure. There we go. There's the big girl there. Now she was heading straight back into my trap, so I'm going to take her over to one of these other little puddles and let her go there. because she does not need to spend the whole day in there eating my bait and getting more tangled up again. I don't want to have to get her out again, so we'll take her over here a little bit further in. There you go, darling. Here's a nice hole for you. Go on, get in the hole. Isn't it amazing how they just disappear? I really envy the guys who can walk around and just spot them with their eyes and grab them by the hands. I'd love to get out and give it a go sometime with some blokes who actually know what they're doing. And that's just completely gone. That's amazing. Alright, well I've got a long walk out of here, but I'll catch you guys later on. It's been a pleasure. Alright, you guessed it. We're out here again checking these traps. Straight down to the beach to check it, because that tide's coming in once again. What have we got down here today? Another little crab in the pot. No giant though. Right, so there we go. The pot on the beach produces another young buck. This one's a little bit smaller than the one yesterday, so still undersized, but it's good to see there's a couple getting around, even if they are just a little bit smaller than we want. So we'll go back and we'll check the other three, and hopefully we've got a little bit better result on those. Nothing again. Right, so we're a bust again on that one. That's the one on the creek, and seems to be a bit of a pattern emerging here. That one was empty again yesterday. The flats just come up empty again, same as yesterday. Right, just the one left, the one down in the mangroves, the trees, so let's get to it. Now I can see that one's empty. It's a little bit disheartening, just the one little buck for this morning, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So we're going to change these out for catfish. You might have seen in one of the other videos we went out and caught some and processed them up just for this very purpose. So I'm going to head back home, and yeah, we'll drop them back out on the afternoon tide tonight, because that tide's coming in now and we've got to get out of here. Alright guys, I'll see you a bit later on. So I've just been checking the tide times against what the tide is now, and I'd say for my lowest pot at the beach, I probably need about a foot more water. So the tide's currently 2.2 meters and it's going to about 3.6 today, so it'll definitely get some water over it during the day. But I'd say the flats, the highest one, probably needs another metre. Maybe it is time to move that. I'll wait till this afternoon, check them, take some new bait down, and we'll assess the situation. We've just banged some catfish in the first pot, the trees. So we've chucked it in that one first because I'm not roasting the tide now. The tide's not going to come back through here for like half a dozen hours. So we've got plenty of time. We'll just do them in order. That way if we're going to have a little bit of a chill out, we'll be doing it down the beach where it's a little bit nicer. So that's one done. No crabs in it obviously, little tide during the day. But we'll go and check these other two, bang a bit of bait in them, and then do the haul up to the beach. I know my pots aren't getting enough water over them, so I've been chasing a spot that maybe will supply that. And this is what I found in here. So although they'll be sitting on a bit on the lean, at least there'll be water over them the whole time and crabs might get in them. So I think I'm going to go back and grab the pot. I think off the flats, grab one of the pots, sit them in here. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be on the lean a little bit, but at least it'll have the water. So it's getting on a little bit, but I think we've got time. So we'll shoot up and we'll grab one of those pots we just baited with catfish, and yeah, we'll bring it all the way up here. Now isn't that an awesome spot for a crab pot? You might be wondering why I'm filming a different mode now. That's because the GoPro's gone. It was clipped onto my waist and now it's not when I've gone to film this. So I guess we're going looking for a GoPro in the mangroves. Hey! It It wasn't that far away actually, it was right across this last creek, so super stoked about that. Definitely my lucky day. One thing I'm amazed to see out here is these ant lines. I don't know if you know what they are, definitely give them a look up if you don't, but very, very little of this place sticks out of the water at a high tide, and I'm sure king tides go over the whole thing. So I don't know how they survive out here, but they are amazing. Right, that's one of the crabs we caught earlier today, and I caught it in the pot down near the little creek, the one we've nicknamed the creek anyway. That's pretty close to where we've dropped our other pot this afternoon with the catfish in them. So I didn't like how they were walking all the way out across the mud trying to find water, so I've just found like little gutters and that to drop them in, and this was a little Jenny. So I've just let her go in a little puddle, so she'll be alright. It's a couple of hours ago now. But yeah, she's still just sitting there. She hasn't moved very far. So, man, do they blend in good. No wonder I can't find them when I'm walking around. I'll show you what else I've been doing out here, killing a bit of time. You might remember this spot from earlier in the videos. We've walked past it a few times. We've got a pod close to here. It was just a big pile of rubble and rubbish, but I tidied it up a little bit and I thought, hey, why not make the most of it? I'm currently sitting on a huge concrete plinth that's just lying here amongst the mangroves. And this was just a big pile of rubble. Just been rearranged a little bit. Maybe one day if we catch a crab or a couple of those mud lobsters. I haven't managed to find any this time. I seen one sticking out of a hole, but he sucked down straight away. So maybe if we find something to cook, we might cook it out here in the mangroves. But until then, it's a good spot to stop and have a bit of a break and watch the sun go down. Empty. These pots just keep coming up empty, these ones up in the mangroves. I just don't think they're getting enough water over them. I think we're going to have to find somewhere else to set up some of these traps. The only ones that seem to be catching anything are the ones down the end. They're in a lot lower position and spend a lot more time in the water. This one down on the beach seems to catch crabs every day. No keepers so far, but still at least it's catching crabs. I'll shoot down and check to see if we've got any this morning. Now it looks like we've got a decent sized Jenny in there. I'm guessing it's a Jenny, I haven't been up that close. But let's go down and take a look together. So unfortunately that big girl dropped a couple of legs. And then even one of her mate nippers coming out of there. For no real reason, she was coming out fine and I don't know. So a little bit unfortunate, and we can't take those. Even though she's dropped them, it'd be illegal for me to take them. So we're just gonna have to leave the legs here. Definitely unfortunate about her dropping those legs, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. They will grow back, it'll just take a little bit of time. We've got one more trap to set, the one we moved yesterday. So hopefully it does the trick, and hopefully it's got a couple of big bucks in there for us. I can't wait to go and see, so let's check it out. This pot sits in there nice and snug on the bottom of this drainage. I'll be surprised if it doesn't have a couple of crabs in it. One mud crab and a couple of little diamond scale mullet. Alright, still no big bucks today, but we got a couple of crabs, which is a good sign. Looks like the catfish is doing its job, and a few diamond scales. That was a nice surprise as well. But we've reset these. I'm going to go back and check out another spot to see if we can move some of these pots closer down to the low tide mark, because obviously they're spending a lot of time out of the water. See if we can improve our chances a little bit while we're out here. But that tide is coming in, so we can't be taking too long. Alright guys, I might catch you a little bit later on. Good morning. We are heading back in to check these traps once again. And we're going to set up the crabbing camp. Maybe we'll be cooking some crabs there too, who knows. Trap one's a bust. It's the highest one. The next three are lower down in the water level, so hopefully they're doing a little bit better. Well, she's a bust. Still got that one pot to go and check on the foreshore. So we'll go and drop the bag off and we'll go and check it because it's pretty close to the crab camp. So we'll go and do that, and I'll see you over there. This is the one I placed yesterday on the foreshore, and it's a bust as well. I found these tracks this morning up around where the camp is. I'm thinking cat, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know what else would be out here. If you guys know, drop a comment because it's got me stumped. Alright, now onto the other little project I was going to do while I'm out here. I'm trying not to bring anything in. I sort of cheated a little bit and brought in some shade cloth, but everything else has been sourced from right out here in the mangroves. Righto, that's for now anyway. Nothing flash, but it's something to sit under, which is all I was aiming for. Righto guys, no big bucks again this morning. We did get that one little guy we let go, but it looks like the crabbing sort of dropping off as the tides do. The tides are moving into the lowest point of their cycle, so we're probably not going to get any big crabs for a few days. Not that we've been getting them anyway, but we're probably not going to see any for a few days, maybe a week. Right, guys, I'll catch you when there's a few bucks hitting around. She's looking a little worse for wear, but it's still standing. I'm pretty happy with that. And the pots are still there in the tray too, so that's awesome. Let's get these guys set up, and I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace. Now I've set these pots roughly back where they were last time, and it's been 24 hours, so let's get out there and check them. You can see here we've got a couple of little bucks in there. Hiding there in the leaf litter. This one does tend to catch a lot of little bucks, like these guys, which they're probably 12, 13 centimeters across the shell, not quite the 15 they need to be, but yeah, still good to see some crabs. Oh, he's going for the deeper water. Looks like not a bad sized Jenny, but not what we're after. Finally got that big girl out. I tried to chuck her back in the water, but she was having none of it. There she is here. Heading back over towards the trap, so hopefully she goes into those mangroves and hangs out there. She ended up finding a spot to call home until that water came back in. There was a big crab in there. I'm not about to see it from here, but my bait bag's just been torn open, so pretty good chance it's around here somewhere under this mangrove. Chances of finding it are pretty slim as well, but we'll have a look around, see what comes up. Obviously it's impossible for you guys to tell, but we're dealing with some of the biggest tides we get up here at the moment, and becomes evident when you have a look at this little creek or what's happened to it. This is the trap that catches all the little bucks normally, and you can see it's been washed right out of the creek and half buried. It goes to show the importance of tying them off. It's only a little creek and that's had some run come through it. Oh well, let's dig this one out. These big tides sure did a number on my other trap, but with big tides comes big bucks. Looks like a big buck. Yes! Now I've picked up plenty of crabs in my day, but this guy, he's really fighting me. He always seems to be digging one claw into the ground and forcing the other one back up to try and grab my wrist. I don't want those monster claws on me. Look at the size of them. It's the biggest claws I've seen on such a, like, not a massive crab. I think I'm gonna have to tape him up. Those claws would easily make a mess of a couple of fingers, and I'd wager this guy's claws, they'd probably fit around my wrist, and I wouldn't like to see what would happen there. That's a big crab. Well, not so much big, but the claws on him. I've had to tape him up because I couldn't hold him still. I don't know how I'm supposed to stuff him in here either. The backup bait is I'm out of catfish. Come on, mate, in there.
What a bloody mission. Oh, it's good to finally get a crab down here this year, because we've come up Stumpstall now and he's a solid buck for sure. So I'll get this trap reset. I checked one on the walk in. This is the second one I've checked. So we'll go and check the other two and see how they've gone. Awesome though. Awesome crab. I'm so stoked with that.
Okay guys, this is the last time I'm going to run these pots. I've got another job I've got to go to, and these tides are getting just too big. I mean, this has been running out for 6 or 7 hours now, running out of the flats here, and look at the water coming through. The deepest spot of this creek's probably 1 metre deep. It's just luckily I know where there's a few stepping stones. We had some pots here in the first episode of Mudcrabs in the Mangroves in this little creek here, and you can see how much it's running out now. So I'm going to go in and check these pots, see what we've caught, and pull them back out, because this is just getting a little bit sketchy considering there's been a few crocodiles getting around. Righto guys, I'll see you out guys. I might end the video there. It's been awesome to have you guys come with me while we explore this awesome ecosystem, chasing a few muddies. We certainly got that one big eater, and this isn't quite how I wanted to end the video with this big buck here. Let him go. But nonetheless, it's been awesome to have you come with me, and I hope you can join me on another video. There's still plenty of time left in the year. You can find a spot far enough away from everyone else, you might just be lucky enough to pick yourself up a couple of good bucks. Now for me, it's time I haul all this gear back out of here, because it's starting to get dark and that water's starting to roll back on in. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, if you did, please like, subscribe, really does me a favour. You're doing me a solid. Anyway guys, I hope to see you out there somewhere. Have a good one.